Oh my God. All right. So you guys are hopefully checking me out. Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's happening, everybody? What's up, my know-it-alls? All right, I'm talking over here to the main camera. I am doing some experimenting today. So bear with me because I'm currently live on TikTok. Hi, guys. And I'm live on YouTube and on X. So hopefully you guys are commenting places and I can get a chance to see who's all doing what. But I appreciate every single person out there who's checking things out. And hopefully, we're going to talk about some things today. But specifically, what we're going to be talking about is the Golden Globes. That happened. And there's also some other newsy bits and things like that we may get into. But for right now, that's going to be sort of the main. I hate to say main topic, but that's really what that is. So it's going to be the main topic of things that we're going to be going over today. And I hope that you're here for all that fun stuff. Again, you want to find me on YouTube or anywhere. It's either at a real know-it-all or Mr. Know-it-all itself. So, hey guys, what's going on? Yeah, man, good to see people again. Wow, again, getting used to the whole TikTok of it all. So the reason I'm on TikTok, by the way, to sort of play this at home, play this out. I posted a BTS video that came across my opportunity and to watch, and it was BTS of Stranger Things. Specifically, it was Dustin and Steve doing the little stabby stab thing, and man, did that get a reaction online! And so I love that. I'm currently reaching out to a lot of folks and checking out some places to try to get more BTS stuff for that stuff. So if you're on the Tikity Talks, that's why most likely a lot of folks are here. But either way, what I do is I go by Mr. Know-It-All. I do movie reviews and TV stuff, but also on the weekdays for everybody else, I do Mondays and Wednesdays a live stream, Mr. Know-It-All Live, and that's where we are today. So last night the Golden Globes dropped, and I asked the question, and the thumbnail that I had online was, do we care? And are they cool again? So about two and a half, maybe 3 years ago, the Golden Globes had reached an all-time low. I mean, it was arguably one of the worst shows out that nobody really cared about, if I'm being real. And by that, I just mean people went, but the awards were always kind of weird in terms of what the categories were and stuff. And it was never, I don't know, it never really fell into a rut or a routine that made sense. So again, I've seen a lot of these. I haven't seen all of them, and we'll talk through some of these as well. But yeah, man, with the I love it. Hey, I watched a little the other day. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Clip Flipper 45. It's good to hear. And yeah, so when you look at the Golden Globes and you ask yourself, are they relevant? The first thing they did really well, and it started last year, let's be real, was they got Nikki Glaser to host. And I would play clips, but I'm afraid of getting the video either taken down or demonetized or whatever else. So I'm not really messing around a whole lot with that today. But I will say that it when they picked her, this was smart. It was a smart move. Nikki Glaser brings a sensibility to the that they needed. It's a sensibility that, truthfully, the kind of the Oscars have had in the past, and I don't necessarily know that it's good, bad, and different, whatever. But I do feel like it's one of those things that if you get an opportunity to watch sort of a good host, you understand how they carry the show, and she did that last year. So again, she did that this year. And so again, smart move on their part. And if you have thoughts, would love to hear them. But let's talk a little bit about some of the different nominations that all joined up into this whole thing. And obviously, we're talking about the Golden Globes. And so I went straight to let's start at the very top of this thing. They usually start with there's best motion picture or drama, and for as categories go. And I don't necessarily know that I mind or that I had an issue with the way the categories were laid out. I do know that this category had it was Frankenstein, Hamnet, it was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and The Secret Agent. The Secret Agent, by the way, was a weird dark horse that I didn't expect to come out of nowhere. It's a Brazilian movie, and I thought it was really good. Yes, the comedian chick. That's right. Yeah, Nikki Glaser. It's her. And so, so the first category was motion picture. Hamnet won, which I hadn't seen a whole lot about Hamnet, but until the actual award circuit started, and then people started caring about that stuff. But yeah, no, she was very funny, and so. But that's what won Best Picture, Best Motion Picture Drama is what they called it. And then there was Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy, which this is the one that gets confusing when it comes to the Golden Globes. mainly because most of the time the people that are winning aren't a comedy. Let's see. You had Blue Moon, Begonia, Marty Supreme, which hey, whatever. No Other Choice, Nouvelle Vague, and One Battle After Another, which, surprise, surprise, One Battle After Another won the award. I say surprise, surprise because if it's a movie that hasn't gotten a lot of big box office, or if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the movie One Battle After Another, it's a heavy movie. It's heavy, and it's definitely awardsy, if you will. And it's almost like it's gotten to the point that if you want to see if a movie's going to do well, put DiCaprio looking as rough as he could possibly look into so clip flipper, so it's political. It can it I don't know that any of these aren't, but I don't necessarily know if it's political like right left as much as it's political, meaning Hollywood only cares about it's the classic South Park thing. They only care about sniffing their own farts. And that and so you sit here and you go, really, guys, I don't know, how much is it really, whatever. The movie has been called many, many things by a lot of people. There are a lot of folks out there who swear by this movie. I don't necessarily know that I think One Battle After Another it was as good. I have had an opportunity to see it. It's from a technical place, it's a fine movie. Story wise, I felt like it was a bit, and people will argue it was artistic the way it kind of jumps around, whatever. Anyway, yeah, I don't necessarily know that I didn't not like it, that's for sure. But at the same time, I don't know that I thought it was best picture. Honestly, my vote would have been much closer to Sinners or even Marty Supreme, I suppose. That's just me. So we'll see kind of where that lands. Best motion picture animated had several movies that were in line: Arco, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunter, Little Amelia, or The Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. I was really afraid Zootopia 2 was going to carry it away just by sheer virtue of it being a juggernaut. But no, actually, Netflix movie K-pop Demon Hunters won the best motion picture animated, and I'm here for that myself. I definitely think best that belonged. I loved that movie. I thought K-pop Demon Hunter was a complete surprise. Marty Supreme isn't bad. I saw Clip Flipper asking about Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme's not bad. My homeboy Dork Knight, Danny Dork Knight on Nerdfights, on which I do live on Friday nights. He loves the movie. He thinks, I'm kidding, he hates the movie. He actually thinks it's the worst. I'm not going to go there. I realized that, like, you know what? I don't want anybody to be fooled. But I know a lot of people who do love the movie Marty Supreme. And I don't know necessarily if I liked Sinners as a vampire movie. I liked Sinners as a because I also see clip over Sinners was I, and yeah, it was good. It was I, but I thought it was better in my opinion than One Battle After Another. Yeah, we'll see. And then again, K-pop Demon Hunter won the best motion picture animated, which I'm happy about, very happy about, because I feel like K-pop Demon Hunter is one of those things that Sony regrets having passed on, because they could have distributed it and it could have gotten into a full-blown theatrical and it could have ended up being a phenomenon for them, but instead it became a phenomenon for Netflix, and now it's the poster child along with several other things about Netflix and whatnot. So whatever. Best motion picture non-English language. This is where I said at the top that the dark horse came out of nowhere. Secret Agent, which is a Brazilian film. There was It Was Just an Accident, No Other Choice, Sentimental Value, Sirat, The Secret Agent, and the voice of Hind Rajab, which whatever. I've seen none of these. I'm going to be looking for The Secret Agent now, though, because of this. So Secret Agent for sure dropped, and it won. It won the best motion picture non-English language, which I thought I appreciated. I appreciated that it won. Being Spanish, I also appreciate a Spanish movie having won. But it's just me. Next in the Golden Globes is best performance by a female actor in a motion picture or drama. You had Ava Victor for Sorry Baby, Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love, Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Julia Roberts for After the Hunt. Oh, Julia, check you out. There comes some more bites at the apple. Renat Rinseve, whatever, for Sentimental Value, and Tessa Thompson for Hedda. Jessie Buckley won for Hamnet. Again, Hamnet picking up all kinds of stuff at the Golden Globes. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture drama was, the options were Dwayne Johnson, so The Rock, for The Smashing Machine, which everybody figured this was his attempt or want to go bite the apple for, and I'm like, okay, All right, let's see what Dwayne Johnson can do when it comes to that. Then you had Jeremy Allen White for the Springsteen movie, which I've heard middling things about. I had an opportunity to see it, but then didn't get a chance. I didn't watch it fully, so I don't know, man. I really do wish that I would have gotten a better opportunity to check it out myself. Jeremy Allen White again, like Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, Oscar Isaac for Frankenstein, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Again, Secret Agent coming out and winning, and I was like, okay, I'm down. That's pretty dope. Let's see what's going on there. And so I do want to check it out, and I will most likely do a review and when I get an opportunity and put it out there. I'm probably going to go through a lot of this award season stuff and see what I missed the last year that I should have probably paid a little more attention to. I'm really trying this year to dedicate myself to seeing more things, as there's like 4 movies in the theater I haven't had a chance to see yet. But I'm doing my best, so we'll see how that all susses out or how that ultimately goes. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. The nominees were Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee, Chase Infinity, One Battle After Another. Again, all kinds of yucks there. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked for Good, regardless how you feel about Cynthia Erivo. Emma Stone for Begonia, and which I kind of felt. I don't know. Does anybody else feel like they were worried she was going to just take everything? Because you got to remember, Yorgos Lanthimos has been sort of the guy who did Yorgos. Yeah, I think it's Yorgos Lanthimos has been sort of just like pounding away at stuff in terms of like really just hitting home with movies that all of the alleged the critics love, and while I love the unique swings that Yorgos Lanthimos was taking. I don't necessarily know that I think every single movie, by virtue of them being his, needs as much recognition as he gets. I'm bordering on believing he's very overrated right now. So I would love to hear your thoughts if you think Yorgos Lanthimos is overrated or not. Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, which according to Salty is just next level and arguably should be the best picture of the year for everything, all the stuff. But I heard she was exceptional. I was not on the Avengers set, no, but I know people. I know some people. I am not a leaker and I'm not an informant guy. I purposely stay away from that stuff. But when friends of mine are going to post stuff anyway on their socials, they sort of give me a heads up, and once in a while I'll get some stuff. But now that I know that people love that nonsense, like I'm starting to lean heavier on trying to get my hands on some of it. But again, I am not a leaker. I am not that guy. So don't, like, if you come here looking for any kind of release stuff, no. The video is one that's been going around. That was actually not a friend of mine, but going around that there was already, they shot, I know what you're talking about. They shot some stuff. This is, by the way, over on Twitter or on TikTok. Cliff Flipper's asking about the video that was posted today from the quote unquote set in London for Avengers Doomsday. They were shooting a period piece that was set clearly in what looks like the 40s. And it's a lot of Bobby's police in the old style Bobby outfits, and whatnot, running around doing stuff. It's stuff that everyone's speculating is more or less for Steve Rogers pieces, possibly, whether it's reshoots and whatnot. Don't let anybody fool you when it comes to the phrase reshoots. Reshoots are a thing that happen all the time in entertainment, and they're even, I would argue, they're very much even they're scheduled and even budgeted for. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's where that video came from, and it's a new one that's been circulating. Back to the Golden Globes, performance was won by Rose Byrne, who for If I Had Legs, I'd Walk. I'd Kick You, rather. Rose Byrne, super sweet. If you get a chance, I'm not playing any clips. But oh my God, it's a know-it-all. Hey, what's up, Bloody Melody? I appreciate you. Yeah, but if you get a chance, check out Rose Byrne's. Snoop Dogg gave her the award. He was the presenter, and she absolutely lost her mind about that, which I thought was fun and very, very cool. But next was best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy, and the nominees were Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, George Clooney for Jake Kelly, Jesse Plemons for Begonia, Lee Byung-hun for No Other Choice, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, and Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. No big secret. Good old Timmy Chalamet took home the Golden Globe for best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, music, or comedy. For Marty Supreme, that haha fest that it is. Golden Globes, best performance for female actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. The nominees were, let's see, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, Ellie Fanning for Sentimental Value, Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine, that's that rock movie, Inga Ipsidotter Lilias for Sentimental Value, and Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. She won One Battle After Another, took home one for that. Her performance in this, while good, felt over the top for me. I don't mean cartoony, but it was one note, and she held it for a long time. There's like one or two very quick, nuanced moments in this whole thing, but in the end, it's like yeah, okay. I feel like Emily Blunt in The Smashing Machine was better, and I know Amy Madigan I liked a lot as well from Weapons. So it's anybody's decision. The Golden Globes. While I am asking the question, are the Golden Globes something to be respected, and do we care anymore about them, or do we suddenly now care all of a sudden again? I will say that once in a while they get it. I believe they get it right, and I think this is wrong. This is not one they got right for me, in my opinion. But hey, whatever. Next was Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture. The nominees were Adam Sandler for Jake Kelly, Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein. He played the monster, Frankenstein's monster. Paul Mescal for Hamnet, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, which everyone thought was a shoo-in to win, and then Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Stellan Skarsgård took it. So yeah, man. For those of you who are MCU fans, Stellan Skarsgård, very much a big part of the Thor franchise, and but he also does other things like regular acting. Get a chance, Google his or look up his on YouTube, his acceptance speech. Stellan Skarsgård does an amazing job of really telling people, hey man, Hollywood needs to know, go see your movies in theaters, in cinema. So he's very much promoting, he uses opportunity not to promote a platform in terms of ideology or anything. And that's one thing I was worried about the whole time. I was very much like, are the actors going to use this as their platform to talk about other stuff? Like, my thing is, you're being recognized for your art, bro. You're being recognized for being an actor. Why don't you bask in that for 2 seconds? Take the Marty Supreme route, and even though Timothy Chalamet feels like he's got his head up his butt sometimes, but like, take an opportunity and talk about how thankful you are to be an actor, and the fact that you get to, like that silly video I posted of the Stranger Things kids, you get to do silly stuff and play pretend and get paid a lot of money to entertain people. Like, that's what you need to be acknowledging in those, in my opinion, and the people who helped get you there, your agents and all the other nonsense. But whatever. The Golden Globes Best Director for an Motion Picture, let's see, the nominees were Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein, Jafar Panahi, It Was Just an Accident, Joaquin Trier for Sentimental Value, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. I definitely feel like in this list, One Battle After Another is fine. My problem is Paul Thomas Anderson is Paul Thomas Anderson. He's going to Paul Thomas Anderson better than anybody else. And I feel like Sinners showed a far more capable director, both, and I don't mean diverse in the cast and all that nonsense, I mean diverse in what he does. The guy goes from multi-million-dollar, if not billion-dollar franchises like the Black Panther series for Marvel, and then does something like Sinners, which is a smaller, much more cozier budgeted film, and it's really good. And I don't mean good for a vampire film or good for a black directed film or whatever, but good because it's good. And the acting is good. The story is good. Everything paces nice. It's really good. It's excellent. So I feel like he should have been the one to take it. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad. That's what things are. What they are. If there's nothing more political than Hollywood awards ceremonies in terms of like the politics of Hollywood, is what I mean. Next was Golden Globe for Best Screenplay or Motion Picture. Your nominees were Chloe Zhao and Maggie Farrell for Hamnet, Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident, Joaquin Trier and Eskil Vogt for Sentimental Value, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ronald Bronstein and Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. They gave it to One Battle After Another, but that, I believe firmly, was a political move. I'm a firm believer that this is more a statement of people's politics than it is actual talent. The reason I say that is, if you look through this honestly, I feel like Marty Supreme and Sinners were the two here that for me landed the strongest. Mind you, they're also the two that they're two of the three that I've seen on this list. Though I hear Hamnet was really good also. I don't know, man. I'll get an opportunity. I'll take a look and see what that ultimately lands, and I want to take a look at it. I want to take a look at it and see. But either way, that's Paul Thomas Anderson won for best screenplay. So next you had best original score in a motion picture, which is the music. And you had let's see, it was Frankenstein, F1, One Battle After Another, Seurat, and Sinners and Hamnet. Sinners won, and it was Ludwig Göransson who did it. I like Ludwig Göransson. The man is a secret beast of a composer. He if you look at his filmography, he does some pretty intense stuff. And what I love about him is just I love his unique sound, and hopefully it's like the first time that Michael Giacchino showed up on my radar. He has a very unique sound. Same thing. Ludwig Göransson has a very unique sound, and also I think he works with the rest of the music. He was involved in the music choices, I believe, as well, but I think, but I could be wrong about that. Next was best Golden Globes, best original song. And your choices were Dream as one, Avatar, Fire and Ice, Golden for K-Pop Demon Hunter, I Lied to You from Sinners, No Place Like Home, Wicked for Good, The Girl in the Bubble, Wicked for Good, and Train Dreams from the movie Train Dreams. If any of you thought that you knew that who the winner was going to be, I was shocked. I did not know that I've ever had an animation win. It was K-Pop Demon Hunter for Golden. We've heard this song everywhere by now. I mean, everywhere. They opened Saturday Night Live with it with them and whatnot. You've seen this song played and performed everywhere, and it is a monstrously good song, and the way they perform it is really good as well. I think any of these would have actually not been bad choices. I'm kind of just glad that I'm kind of glad Wicked didn't win it, because I feel like everyone expects Wicked to win all the music things, and I don't know that it deserved it. So. Golden Globe did a thing, cinematic and box office achievement. This is, I've always believed, this is the kind of thing the award show throw a bone at the audiences for. If you ever watched the MTV Music Movie Awards or any of those fan-driven awards, this is kind of one of those things that I feel like when they nominate this and they say to themselves, okay, which of these movies will the audiences really dig and vibe with? And so Avatar, Fire and Ash was one of the options. F1, K-Pop Demon Hunter, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, Sinners, Weapons, Wicked for Good, and Zootopia 2. All big monsters, but the winner was Sinners. Did Sinners make the most money on this list? No. But Sinners, for what it was a power horse and did a wonderful job maintaining, staying, and being there. I would argue it was a box office achievement. Take that for what you will. Then we get into some of the TV stuff, which is my favorite. Best television series or drama. Your options were the Diplomat, Pluribus, Severance, Slow Horses, The Pit, and The White Lotus. Many of these we've seen. I will say conspicuously, and I don't know, it's because it might not have landed. My favorite type of movie, I'm definitely genre. I would for sure say that I fall under genre. Which is your sci-fi, fantasy, those kinds of things. I'm getting more into horror movies these days, and I hope that I start, because I'm enjoying a lot of stuff. Like Welcome to Derry was stupid good, just like I thought the It movies were, but this took that whole thing to a whole nother level. I love you love Interstellar. Yeah, Interstellar is a good movie. Interstellar was an excellent movie. I was also a fan of Tenet. So, I mean, Tenet's one of those movies my daughter and I sat and watched, and all of a sudden at the end of it, we're like, we want to see it again. And we watched it, right? We rolled right into it again. So, whatever. But back to the Golden Globes, the best television series or drama, The Pit won. My wife and I, Mrs. Know-It-All, and I started watching The Pit because of Dr. What's his name? Tenet. Tenet was one of the movies that what's his name, Christopher Nolan did. Yeah, Tenet was excellent. All same guys did Interstellar. But The Pit is really good. It's got Noah Hawley doing his Noah Hawleyist to be really good in terms of like wanting to this ER feel and whatnot. Though it's not ER in any way, shape, or form. There's literally been a lawsuit about that. So God forbid, don't get that mixed up, please. But yeah, it was excellent. I thought The Pit was excellent. I have heard Slow Horses is really good. I have to catch up and binge that for sure. Best television series, music, or comedy went to the studio. The options were Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, and the studio. Now, The Bear is on this list because they submitted it for this. Because 9 times out of 10, when you have a strong outing like you do in the drama category, you submit stuff for some of the other stuff. I would argue The Bear isn't really much of a comedy, but I think it's more of a dark comedy. But either way, the studio won, and I think the studio was arguably a good choice, if not a predictable one. So, yeah, I, again, would love to hear your thoughts if you had an opportunity to see any of those series. Best television limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. The choices were Adolescence, All Her Fault, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, The Beast in Me, and The Girlfriend. And Adolescence won. And Adolescence is one of those movies that I feel like they've done it's good. It's Netflix. It's good. And it's funny because everyone's like, well, Netflix is growing and this and that. They are, and they need to, because Lord knows they've not been doing super great for a minute, but I'm glad they're doing better now. So hopefully we'll see some better things from them, especially if that whole thing with Warner Brothers finally goes through. So would love to hear your thoughts on that whole situation. Golden Globe Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Television Series or Drama. Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us. Britt Lauer for Severance. Helen Mirren for Mobland. Helen Mirren is a gift. I mean, she's absolutely... Kathy Bates for Matlock. Give that woman all the things. She's doing amazing. Kerry Russell for The Diplomat. And Rhea Seehorn for Pluribus. Rhea Seehorn took it, and I'm okay with that, because Pluribus, I keep, it's literally on my list. I have 2 other things to watch before that, but Pluribus is on my list of things to be watching because it looks amazing and genuinely I feels like knows what it wants to be and is unapologetic about it. It has the same energy as like Severance did when it first came out and whatnot. Like you weren't really sure what that was, but yeah, I was definitely here. I like it. I like it a lot. Best performance by a male actor in a television series or drama. Your options were Adam Scott for Severance, Diego Luna for Andor. Love him, and I think he definitely should have won something. Gary Oldman for Slow Horses, Mark Ruffalo for Task, Noah Wyle for The Pit, and Sterling Brown for Paradise. Sterling K. Brown, by the way. Noah Wyle won for The Pit, and I believe he deserved it. The guy is an emotional powerhouse and really brings home. He brought it home in a big bad way that I enjoyed. So if you had an opportunity to see The Pit, it's good. Oh yeah, it's real good. It's funny. The Pit does essentially it's a 24-hour period, and so you get to see not 24-hour period, but it's a blip in time for this emergency room, and it's real time. Much like the old show 24 was. I think there was a couple other shows that have done real time, and that's what this was. So I thought that was interesting. Best performance by a female actor in a television series, musical, or comedy. Iowa DeBerry for The Bear, Jean Smart for Hacks, Jenna Ortega for Wednesday, Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, Natasha Leone for Poker Face, Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building. I was in the camp of Jenna Ortega for Wednesday myself, but I do understand Jean Smart. Jean Smart's sort of a staple at the Golden Globes. I don't know, a lot of people were surprised by the fact she won this. Do I think she deserved it? Sure. I feel like Ayo Edebiri did a great job with The Bear, and definitely Selena Gomez with Only Murders in the Building has really kind of shown herself to be a force beside the likes of Steve Martin and Martin Short in terms of being able to not get lost on screen. And so, yeah, I enjoyed having that. I enjoyed seeing those options, but I guess, I get it. Jean Smart, she's a safe choice for sure. Best performance by a female actor in a limited series, anthology series, or a motion picture made for television. The options were Amanda Seyfried for Long Bright River, Claire Danes for The Beast in Me, Michelle Williams for Dying for Sex, Rashida Jones for Black Mirror, Robin Wright for The Girlfriend, and Sarah Snook for All Her Fault. Michelle Williams won for Dying for Sex. Haven't seen it. Hadn't even heard about it till the awards. So I'll have to know. I will have to look and see if I think it's worth all that. If you've seen it, would love to hear your thoughts. Golden Globe for Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This. Glenn Powell for Chad Powers. Chad Powers is a force. I watched some of that was ridiculous. That's good. It's so good. Jeremy Allen White for The Bear, of course. Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building. Seth Rogen for The Studio. And Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building. Seth Rogen won. And if you watch his acceptance speech, he pays homage to, he's very respectful. And he's like, he tells this joke about he never imagined when he was younger that he would be beating Martin Short and Steve Martin. But there he was. And I don't necessarily know, again, I think when you compare the two things, you find yourself going, huh, okay. So either way, I do like what they're doing, and we'll see. Hopefully, let's see. I think that the next best performance by a female actor in a supporting role on television. Let's see. It was Amy Lou Wood for the Lotus, for White Lotus rather. Carrie Coon for the White Lotus. Catherine O'Hara for the Studio. I heard, dude, Catherine O'Hara was amazing in the Studio. I've seen that. I've seen a couple episodes of hers from that. Unreal. Very cool. Aaron Doherty for Adolescence, Hannah Einbender for Hacks, and Parker Posey for White Lotus. Aaron Doherty won for Adolescence. I haven't seen it yet, but again, I hear that's well deserved, and I look forward to seeing that eventually myself. We're almost in the home stretch here. Best performance by a male actor in a limited series, anthology series, or a motion picture made for television. You got Charlie Hunnam for Monster, the Ed Gain story, which, according to, if you any of you follow Call Me Chris on YouTube or TikTok, yeah, she does this really amazing true crime podcast, and I watched very much her episode reviewing this because she not only reviewed this but went over the real facts of the case. And I've kind of come to it's funny, from being the haha person she was on TikTok, here on TikTok, I say, to now being the sort of YouTuber she's trying to pursue being. I like her tone and I like her voice, and she had a lot of good things to say about that. So in terms, not good things, but a lot of interesting things to say about it. Saying ultimately it's not really good. Jacob Elordi for The Narrow Road to the Deep North. Jude Law for Black Rabbit. Matthew Rhys, The Beast in Me. Paul Giamatti for Black Mirror, and Stephen Graham for Adolescence. Stephen Graham won for Adolescence. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role on television. I'm not going to bury a lead. Owen Cooper for Adolescence won, and he was quite charming receiving his award. Look it up, you'll see. The best performance in a stand-up comedy on television, Ricky Gervais won for Mortality. He recently posted on, I think it was either X or Instagram, and he posted specifically about how people were posting clips from this. And he's like, "Hey man, you can't get better promotion." So all you on here on TikTok or anywhere that are posting the shorts, he's like, "You're doing me a great service, so keep it up." And sure enough, the man won an award for it. So I don't know. I love Ricky Gervais, and I think he's got one of the most famous award show intro monologues where he's roasting the audience that you could possibly have. Next was the best podcast category, which I didn't even know was a thing until this, but I did look it up, and it's a hefty dollar amount to submit your show for this award. And I don't know who in the normal podcast world could do that, who could just drop the money it requires to submit for that and then ultimately try to make some sort of an award run for it. It's only these people that are doing it. I mean, you can actually, I guess there's the podcast awards themselves, which are a thing, but whatever. Let's see, Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, Caller Daddy, and Going Home with Amy Poehler, or Good Hang with Amy Poehler, Smart List, the Mel Robbins podcast, and Up First. And Amy Poehler won for Good Hang. And I would lie if I said that I hadn't seen a few clips of hers from the show since she started it, and I have. And you have too. Don't make nothing up. Trust me. And it's okay. It's okay. I think that it's interesting when people go out like that and try to, but that's, those were your Golden Globes, and I'm okay with that. I liked it, and hopefully you did too. So what else, it's the Golden Globes, man. Do we respect them? This year's show was good. I'm going to call it what it was. This year's show was good. I was pleasantly surprised that the Golden Globes were worth a damn like they this year. I've seen really, really bad, atrocious Golden Globes in the past, and this was not that. This turned out to be good, and in a way that really surprised me, and that I enjoyed checking out, and hopefully you did too. So, but there's been some other things that have come up that I want to talk a little bit about. I know that speaking of awards, my boy Superman won an award, and that made me really happy, especially because there's so many things out there where they don't get to do much in terms of that. But the moment Superman received the Best Actor award, also confirmed James Gunn's already in Atlanta prepping for production of Man of Tomorrow. So they're working on it right now, actively, and that's fun. That's fun to know that. To know that they're out there doing their thing. It was up against some other stuff, Mickey 17 and some other movies and shows and whatnot, but Mission Impossible it was up against, and Superman won. I loved Superman. I did, and by mind you, I'm a comic book fan. I sort of live in this space a lot. I would consider myself a pop culture commentator. I was here for the DCEU, and I enjoyed that too. Because, like any good fan, you roll with the punches and watch the things and try to get the best you can out of them. And so, people out there want to keep making comparisons. I feel like they're very different creatures, but I feel like Superman it was worth winning something, and it's starting to get some award recognition, and that makes me happy. It makes me very happy. Overall, I feel like there's other places out there and other things. The next thing I want to talk about a little bit was production has begun, or the writer's room rather has been put together for Stargate. Did you know Stargate was coming back? I follow the one of the producers. He was a former producer, now he's a producer again of the show. Joseph Malazzi on X. The guy is really funny. He does these great watch throughs of like Columbo and different things, and he'll ask really interesting, insightful questions about movies and things. He's one of those engagement people that I absolutely enjoy. Let's see, Dawn on TikTok says love Stargate. Yeah, man, Stargate was great. I love the movies. James Spader did a great job, and then the shows picked it up and kind of carried the mythos and sort of kept the thing going. I was a big fan of Stargate. Funny story, Stargate is what got me through my divorce. That's right. Stargate got me through my divorce. Why? As many people will tell you, when you have a major breakup of any kind, there's a lot of things that were together. Whether it's the music you listen to, there's that song that used to be all your songs, and you're like, oh, it's terrible. I don't want to remember that anymore. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So fresh out of my divorce, I'm in my new apartment by myself. And I'm sitting here going through all my stuff. And I'm like, I want to watch this. No, I can't watch that. Why? Because she liked that. Watch this, watch it. No, I watched that. Saw that in the movie theater with her. Everything was attached. It was too new. Everybody's like, get over that. Stop being a simp. No, it was too new. Okay, trust me. Then I came across on one of the, I think at the time it was like somebody outlier. And I was like, there was a promo for the Stargate series, the original series. And I was like, wait a minute. And I run to my closet, I dig out. I had a box set of the original seasons, the first however many seasons of Stargate. And I was like, she never watched this. We never talked about this. This was the show that's gonna, and sure enough, started at it was one of the most fulfilling things I've watched in a long, long time. King Spike 5, hello there. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, man, I love me some Stargate. Stargate was amazing. I thought it's one of those shows that they world built in such a way that made you genuinely love not only the characters and how new actors were portraying them, but the differences in a lot of them. Like the difference between Kurt Russell and Richard Dean Anderson. Richard Dean Anderson owns that role as far as I'm concerned, and should never ever not be referenced as part of that. But good stuff about the show. So King Spike, we were talking about the Golden Globes, and you can go back and watch that if you want. Right now, I'm talking about Stargate. There's a new Stargate series coming out this morning. Video dropped of new filming on Avengers: Doomsday, which is on here on my TikTok, and or you can see it everywhere else on X and whatnot. And it's just they're filming stuff seemingly set in the 1940s. Yeah, man, Stargate SG-1 was great, and this is not a reboot or a requel. Apparently, it is an actual in-universe continuation of the Stargate mythos. Nobody's really confirmed whether that means we're going to see SG-1 again, or the same characters, or we're going to be in the mountain base, or whatever. Nobody's confirmed those elements, but it is definitely in the existing Stargate universe. So yeah, man. No, it's not a reshoot. It was something that was just shot, but everybody had thought they had wrapped up shooting, and then all of a sudden they pop up with all kinds of new stuff and start shooting it there again. That's what that meant. So no, reshoots are it's too soon for reshoots. You're absolutely right. Good catch on that. Promo and everything is focused on Wonder Man, Vision Quest, and reshoots for Spider-Man. Yeah, I don't know. I talked about Wonder Man last week. My issue with Wonder Man isn't even. It's so funny. Everyone's like, "Are you worried about him being race bent?" No, I'm not. I'm worried about the fact that I never cared about the comic book character to begin with. And hopefully they make me care about him. Because he's an easy in. The character of Wonder Man is an easy in to the West Coast Avengers if you were considering even going there. So anyway, but either way. Let me see. I see a notification. Hit me up, dude. Hit me up after this. I would love to have you on, like actual like a thing. I'm actually, believe it or not, I do my live show during Monday and Wednesday. I do it on my lunch break. So I have a very specific set of time that I can to do some stuff. But I would, dude, I would love to. So let's get together and do a live stream together soon. I swear. Okay, I'm not even kidding. That's not. I'm not just saying that. I would love to have a conversation, even if it's just on TikTok only. So if you guys are following me on, because I'm actually live streaming this on YouTube and X. If you guys want to see a live stream on TikTok, I'll let you know when that happens, and that'll probably just be over here for TikTok. It'll be between me and yeah, definitely King Spike. We'll talk online for sure, offline, absolutely. No, if you see me talking, you're good. Here's the thing: I'm not afraid. Even if, let's just say it wasn't. I'm not afraid for having conversations. All I ask is that people actually have a conversation. Anyone's allowed to hate stuff or love stuff. Just be willing to talk reasonably about it. There's too many people that want to shut stuff down, and I hate that. So I'm glad, bro. Like, absolutely good energy. I would love to have that conversation, and I don't get enough to talk about that stuff. Oh, totally. Be respectful of other points. I agree. Heck yeah, man. Absolutely. Those of you watching on YouTube, if you're not seeing comments, it's because literally I have two streaming things set up. One is for the TikTok one, and one is for you guys. The other screen I'm looking at is over here. And oh, it's awesome. He's all about Marvel and DC. Yeah, totally. Of course. Why not? We all are. We are, culturally speaking, we all are. But yeah, man, I'm actually really excited for everything I'm hearing from people about Stargate and what it's going to be, especially because right now we have so many of these IPs that are kind of going down, not in flames, if you will, but yeah, no problem, brother. Absolutely, absolutely. You have my word. I will hit you up. But yeah, man, I feel like Star Wars is taking a big hit, taking a lot of hits on the chin, regardless what side you live on that thing. Same thing with Marvel. I think DC is now building itself out of, is climbing out of its rut that it was in, and I'm happy for the direction it's moving in. But when you see something like Stargate and everybody involved is from the original group team and is faithfully like, hey, we're going to continue telling this story because we believe there's more story to tell. And I'm down for that. Whereas I do feel like they had sort of wound down, and you need that break. I don't know if you needed as long a break as we got, but you needed it, and that's fair. So yeah, man, would absolutely love to hear people's thoughts on Stargate and sort of what that new resurgence or reawakening of that is and what it means for stuff. Because again, I'm a big fan of that stuff. Remember when that stuff came out? That's the reason why I originally got out of like Enterprise and some other stuff, is because Sci-Fi there was a huge glut of it in the late 90s, early 2000s, like almost too much on TV, believe it or not. And to the point that it was hard to figure out what you were going to watch or what you wanted to see or any of that stuff. So, I do feel like there's a world in which you can get a lot of this stuff, especially now. My hope is that they're going to give us a nice size season. I would say for Stargate, 10 to 12 episodes rather than what we've been getting from other series is 6 to 8. I think 10 to 12 would be a nice sweet spot where you still get some good storytelling and you still have some room to be able to expand the mythos a little bit. You do have to tell a concise story, meaning you can't have like whole season arcs that feel like they go somewhere sometimes. You have to have, that pretty tight. But 12 episodes at least would give you some room to look around the world and see some stuff. So that's, again, would love to hear your thoughts on all that stuff and what Stargate kind of means to you or doesn't mean to you. I will say this. I saw this just some random stuff out there. We had talked about Stranger Things, and I know a lot of folks are here because of my Stranger Things BTS video and some other stuff. There's a guy online and on Reddit who posted a picture, and he goes, in Stranger Things season 5, Hopper shoots a revolver, and the sound designers added the sound of bullet casings hitting the ground. This is because nobody on the sound team has ever seen a gun before. Okay. I'm going to tell you a very honest thing about when it comes to sound design. Having been in the entertainment industry, you add sounds not necessarily because they are accurate. And everybody's going to be like, what? Are you serious? Yes. You don't add every sound isn't meant to be picture perfect accurate to the thing. What it's meant to do is tell you a thing has happened. And your mind would normally in the past go, oh, okay, he's shooting bullets. Why? Why do I know this? One, I see him, but also I know that it adds another dimension. I know it's real because I heard a bullet casing. Now, many of us are way more savvy than we used to be because it wasn't always the case back in the day. But being way more savvy than we used to be, you sit here and you go, okay, so What is that? Why did they do that? Again, it's the classic watch cars in old movies or older movies, which had to show they were skidding. And there's times that you would hear tires screeching on dirt. Does that mean that the sound designers never drove a car on asphalt or never drove a car on dirt before? No. It means they want you to know when you're listening that this car is skidding out as fast as it can, and the sound of dirt flying isn't as isn't as satisfactory, isn't satisfy that in your head like hearing tires squeal. But you don't pay attention to it much because you're like, oh, okay, whatever. So I would be a little less inclined to be judgmental about this because I understand the nature of this stuff from that side. I do think they need to understand the audiences are more savvy now and aren't just gonna willy nilly be like, oh yeah, no problem, whatever, sure, because and we are, and being hypercritical is the nature of the beast these days. And what are you gonna do about it? Another thing posted, it was Nerdrotic posted a couple days ago, idea that I guess the SAG-AFTRA chief isn't ruling out another strike. There's a possibility of a strike in Hollywood. I don't care. I couldn't care less if these guys struck again. I feel like if you don't, they want something that nobody can give them, which is a measure of security that nothing will ever change. And you can't do that. Nobody can do that because it's not the way it works. Life changes, things happen. Just from the last strike to now, the technology in AI has boomed. Disney has signed a deal with OpenAI to bring Sora, a lot of their characters who were voiced by actors or who were portrayed by actors. So it's one of those things that you're like, clearly you guys have to go have some conversations about what the future looks like. And again, I'm not taking a side, by the way. I'm simply pointing out the futility of the whole thing. And you have to kind of understand, okay, well, what does that mean exactly? That they're going to be striking again? Who knows? But at the same time, I find myself going, dude, you guys hurt yourselves so much every time this happens because this is what gives opportunities for streaming things and YouTube shows and all the why do you think YouTube's making a push for TV watchers? Yeah, they've modified the algorithm so TV watchers it's the very reason why I have a live show now. TV watchers are being served up live programming more often. So if you're watching on a television, YouTube, for instance, the live streams are being presented through the algorithm to you first because people want to see stuff that's relevant. Sometimes they do want to see stuff that's got, evergreen, but at the same time, they're learning there is a niche for that and it exists. It exists on TikTok. It exists on YouTube. People want to see stuff live. You know what I mean? And so every opportunity that they have I hope they go on strike again. Absolutely do. Why? Give me an opportunity. It gives us an opportunity to build an audience. Have more people come in and realize who and what we are and what we do and decide, you know what, this is more entertaining. Dude, I spend most of my day watching more YouTube or TikTok nowadays than I ever have watching TV. In terms of like terrestrial TV and those things, I watch other stuff now. And that's just because of the nature of this particular animal. So I feel like and people are getting their news more. I'm not even talking politics, I'm talking entertainment. People find out more things from scoopers and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, I think all this nonsense, and anybody can argue if you want, when all these trailers for Doomsday are leaking, how much are they leaking? When you see the normal rules for years and years, if you're a critic, you have these different cutoff dates, these embargo periods where you can't talk about a thing, and there's people out there getting amplified who are talking about things technically out of turn. And everyone's like, they're rewarding them. They're part of that system. Heck, if I was offered money to go watch something or whatever, I would watch it. I do. I have friends of mine right now who get screeners and invite me to go see stuff and whatnot. But at the same time, you have to. I think you try to be transparent about that stuff, that it exists, and you always try to, I do my best to make sure my reviews sound like they are my reviews, because if I like something, I'm going to tell you I like it. If I hate it, I'm going to tell you I hate it. But regardless, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole thing. Oh my goodness, where in the world has today gone away from me? All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the show today. I know that I have enjoyed being both on TikTok and YouTube and X now. and hopefully we get an opportunity to talk more. There'll be another show on Wednesday morning, noon. I will have my lunch break with you guys, and then Friday, of course, we have Friday night Nerdfights, and then of course all the other individual videos and reviews that come out on the channel throughout the week. All right, guys, I will talk to you again Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, noon. Yeah, noon is technically afternoon. Wednesday at noon for lunch. All right, guys, never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all. Bye, guys.